in cryptocurrency news, and we make a video every single day related to cryptocurrency so that everybody can stay up to date with all of the action that is taking place in the cryptocurrency space. And of course, there's always a ton of stuff to talk about when it comes to cryptocurrency. So without any further ado, XRP in action mode, growing number of fueling and growth in real-world operations. This article comes to you from CoinGape. This is a pretty interesting one to start off the day with. Recently, Ripple client Mercury FX took to Twitter to share how it made one of the largest payments on RippleNet by using XRP while saving money in the process. See, this is what it's all about, people. XRP, just whether or not you're disgruntled by the market or whether or not you think it's going to be mass adoption today or a year from now, it's all about these gains. It's all about XRP keeps outdoing itself. So Ripple is already working hard and fast and pushing to make its various products part of real-world banking operations. Previously, it has been claimed in 2019 that Ripple already has 100 clients in its bag, and earlier in January this year itself, through our partnership, we are bringing our customers a next generation blockchain payment solution that leverages XRP to address many of the efficiency and equity problems that exist. And I think that that pretty much sums it up. So how's everybody doing? And I think that we have this article for us today. 27 companies now use XRP, with 13 utilizing XRapid. And whether or not you want to talk about the market going sideways, even in a steady decline, I think it's all par for the course. We have XRP's doing its thing with XRapid, getting more banks every single week. There's more banks continuously, and of course Tron with its mainnet launch. These are the signs that I look for. Of course, when it comes to a multifaceted space such as cryptocurrency, it's always important to read in between the lines. And of course, everything is going to have to answer to the regulations. The institution's going to have the final say, which is why I have that certain degree of confidence that XRP is in the know, at least. Whether or not any of these other cryptos are going to get steamrolled over by the establishment in the coming age of regulations and all these things is a lot to be said. But Ripple seems as if it's warmed up pretty nicely. Say what you will about Ripple being the banker crypto, all these different things. I don't see it as a bad thing. The private ledger of XRP got erupted after the news about the transfer of money from Mexico to US took place a few days back. People who tried to find the transaction on the XRP ledger failed to do so and were convinced that there was indeed a private ledger for XRapid transactions via XRP. As per the company, they made the transaction worth 3521 from UK to Mexico. The company even started and stated that they saved 79.17 pounds and 31 hours. This is what it's all about, people. Saving time, saving money, fees, and all these different things. I have faith that XRP is going to be one of the contenders. We've seen so many different things happening in this past week revolving around the space. And this brings me to my next point. Tron, TRX, and BitTorrent will initiate its first airdrop of BitTorrent BTT to Tron TRX holders on February 11th, 2019. So this article I found worth sharing. So we've got ads, of course, but so on February 11th, 2019, BitTorrent Foundation will initiate its first airdrop of BitTorrent BTT to Tron TRX holders. The snapshot will be taken when Tron's block height reaches 6.6 million. Based on this snapshot, BitTorrent Foundation will initiate its first airdrop of, and that is a big number right there, isn't it? I believe that's 10 billion BitTorrent, corresponding to 1.1 of total circulating supply. And so when people talk about these cryptos having real world applications, I think that it's always important to pay attention to what's happening behind the scenes. I mean, of course, when we want to talk about these recent developments that we've been seeing, involving the public consciousness as it relates to Bitcoin and all these different things. Binance Jersey sees massive surge in Bitcoin use amid Bitrex chaos. So the newly launched fiat to cryptocurrency trading platform Binance Jersey is expecting a huge number of requests for Bitcoin services at its launch in the British Isles of Jersey. So things are happening behind the scenes. Oh, bonjour, my friend. Thanks for the donation. Much appreciated. But I mean, when it comes to seeing these different things, as they've been developing in the background and in the foreground, I think that it leaves a lot to be said. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the TRX Nitron Summit. But of course, when we talk about someone like Justin Sun, he's really a figure of his time, a real innovative person. I mean, as far as somebody who I'd like to see, driving Tron in the direction where, I mean, we have a lot of different things to talk about as far as Tron. But first, I think we should look at this. So airdrop will follow 1-to-1 ratio rule. If you are holding 1 TRX, you will be eligible to receive 1 BTT. All official wallets relaying on Tron's network are carrying TRX will be eligible for BTT airdrops corresponding to the amount they are holding. No minimum of TRX is required to qualify for BTT airdrops. So where does this stand? I mean, when we talk about BitTorrent and what BitTorrent Foundation unveils more details regarding BitTorrent airdrops. So I mean, BitTorrent, I remember back in the day, when it was like just like a household name for downloading music, and now it's kind of funny to see how it's overlapping with the cryptocurrency space. So I mean, it's all par for the course, like I said. So 27 companies now using XRP. We already talked about that. Weekly performance update, yada yada. Rapper Soulja Boy says Bitcoin's glory days are over. Well, who cares what that guy has to say about anything? XRP in action mode, growing number of, oh yeah, this is the one that I wanted to talk about. Real world operations. I believe we might have spoken about this, brushed over it earlier, but XRP is one of the largest and most coordinated group of developers in all of cryptocurrency. In Ripple Labs, said Ben Rich in the digital capital maintenance. So another thing I wanted to talk about, let's stop with this calling it cryptocurrency stuff, and let's get with the program. It's called a digital asset, and that's the language that Wall Street is going to be using, the establishment is going to be using. They're going to be referring to these things as digital assets. I mean, the concept of cryptocurrency, I think, is tied in with the overall, I mean, if we can get away from using that sort of language as much as possible, I think that it would be more beneficial overall. I mean, when we're talking about how linguistics certainly do matter, and I'm definitely of the school of thought that the more crypto continues to take itself seriously, we can see more of that in terms of mass adoption and all these different things. Just an idea, but private school parents scammed, blah blah blah. Backed may not be able to launch its planned Bitcoin futures exchange this month as planned, but it isn't stopping the company from developing its projects. So I need to go over I mean, the current price of Tron, and all right, so the SEC still hasn't declared the initial wording, but I agree digital assets sounds great. Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of things are on hold right now due to the recent government shutdown, and there doesn't look like there's much of a sign that it's going to be coming to any sort of an end. So I mean, I think personally, there's the powers that be are pretty much have their hands busy. I mean, are pretty much busy right now. I don't think that cryptocurrency is their biggest area of interest as currently things stand. But I'm using this opportunity as a time for me to fill my bags. I mean, and get ready, because in the cryptocurrency fashion, when things get moving, they tend to get cooking with gasoline, and I think that it's also we need the bear market to play out. And personally, I mean, I have been accumulating on the dips, but at the same time, I see these prices as pretty expensive too. I mean, I'm expecting things to go lower before I'm like I say in almost every video, I'm expecting things to get worse before they get better. I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, so hopefully the market is going to moon soon. Everybody is tired of waiting. Yeah, I agree. And it's all par for the course. When we want to talk about the last time cryptocurrency was receiving its big its big pump, I mean, like Bitcoin at its all-time highs and all these different things, it's certainly something to be said that a lot of people got disgruntled from the over what you want to talk about, like BitConnect and all these different things. Certainly wasn't good for the cryptocurrency investors and all that stuff. But at the same time, I think that it was a useful things. This person thinks that it will drop 65% this year. Personally, I would not be. I would think that would be pretty good. I mean, if we could get a whole year, if I could get an entire year of accumulating, that would be pretty excellent as far as I'm concerned. Last bull market didn't last all that long either, so timing is critical. But if you're looking to catch the perfect bottom and sell the highest peaks, good luck. Yeah, I'm not expecting to get as much good trading done this year as I did in years past. This year I think is more about accumulating. For me, I mean, I'm very much interested in filling my bags and trying to just survive the year. I look to the future as long as I can. Reevaluate in 2025 is what this person says. I hope it doesn't take that long, but I mean, then again, I mean, all these cryptos, when you look at their roadmaps, it definitely they do seem to have their eye on 2020. I think would be some big things will be occurring along those lines. So this person says, I feel back go live would be a good indication of when SEC regs are sorted out to begin the next bull run. Until then, it's going down and just accumulate to the halving point. So ADA, I'm excited about ADA. I mean, whether or not whether or not the community out there is particularly interested in ADA, I'm definitely interested in seeing, what's going to happen as far as that crypto. ETN, Electronium. Yeah, I'm interested in Electronium as well, with the mobile mining and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to have a realistic view of things. I mean, I'm definitely excited. I think Tron this year will be a good year for Tron and XRP. In particular, what we've seen happen, in the past. I mean, we do have some indicators that Tron is getting ready for some sort of movement. I mean, I think if Tron can meet these levels, right, can break resistance, I think that the next resistance level would probably be somewhere a few cents higher. I mean, that's I'll save that for an analysis video though. And what are your thoughts on Apollo, everybody? Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking about Apollo. I've been seeing hey, look, a comment about Apollo 300 rising this week. I expect that the next market plunge in the Dow, we will see the end of the bull market for BTC. Yeah, it is interesting how there is an overlap. I mean, when we see things going good, I mean, when people are making money in the stock market, they tend to stay in the stock market, and when people are panicking, they tend to come over to the cryptocurrency side of things. So it is something to be said along those lines as well. This person, Lee, he says he loves Apollo. I mean, personally, I have over 1 million Apollo just randomly, just because it was cheap when I got on board. I believe I got it for like only a few $100s at the time. I'm going to be making a lot more videos, updates on Apollo, just because it's one of those cryptos that's got my attention. I mean, we look at Apollo currency right here, and I mean, when we talk about a gold standard of crypto, I mean, it's up now, 2.9. That's amazing. I mean, I remember back when it was only a few days ago, Apollo was just fighting at those resistance levels, to get where it is. But I mean, it's all like I said, par for the course. I mean, when we want to talk about real privacy, I mean, I think that Apollo is interesting. It's one of those cryptos that's I mean, if anything is going to logically move its way through the ranks, I think that Apollo does have a chance to be a top 5 crypto, just because of the different things that it's doing in the lines of actual I mean, if it's going to get around the great Chinese firewall, I think that it has a lot of potential there, and I think that that's what people are noticing when it comes to Apollo. I mean, of course, when we want to look at the market as it currently stands, I mean, it does have a lot to do with even in this market, the fact that Apollo's managed to make these gains, it's pretty impressive. And of course, the top gainers for today being Ravane, 10x. So, and of course, Tron. So, I mean, I would recommend. Yeah, mass adoption, I think, is both right on the tip of everybody's tongue, but at the same time, expecting it to be a slow crawl. I mean, when we want to talk about something as complex as mass adoption, we have to, we have to talk about the fact that things right now are pretty much just putting along. I mean, the world. I always like to bring this up, the world debt clock. Whenever anybody tries to talk smack about cryptocurrency, I think the world debt, you just show them this, and I think it'll shut them right up. And yeah, I mean, I'm interested in seeing how XLM is going to be. Stellar Lumens is, of course, in a crypto that has my attention as well. Yeah, XLM is a fork off of XRP. But yeah, I mean, all that being said, you guys, I hope that you guys almost 22 trillion in US debt. Yeah, that's crazy. I'll make a live stream for when we hit 22 trillion. We'll have a little freaking ironic party on here. But yeah, I mean, when we want to talk about something like crypto and mass adoption, I think XRP is right in the middle of it. I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, what was Bitcoin supposed to be the solution? I mean, Bitcoin came out right after the 2008 financial crisis, and then I mean, right now, on the global stage, it seems like cryptocurrency will be the thing that ends up saving the old system. That'll be like the lifeboats that were created. But all that being said, I mean, I am accumulating. I mean, little by little, I still am. I mean, I would recommend you all do your own research when it comes to these things. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a slow crawl, but I do maintain a positive outlook in the long term, and I think what with everything we've been seeing XRP accomplishing in this time frame, it is interesting. Don't get me wrong, and I'm definitely excited to see what Tron is going to do in the future. Did you guys have any last minute things that you wanted to talk about before we end the live stream? I'll give you guys a second to put them in the chat. In the meantime, standard disclaimer, remember this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. This video is not financial advice. I'm not your dad. Obviously, this video exists just so that I can voice my opinions to educate the unwashed masses. Not you guys, of course. You guys are my friends. Apollo currency. I think I'm just taking an extra cup of coffee. Huh. I get asked all the time, do you really think Apollo can compete with the top 20 cryptocurrencies? Let me be very clear. We do not develop Apollo to replace them. Yeah, I think that's funny. Apollo is there to replace the top 20 cryptos that Do I see $1 million Bitcoin in the future? I hope so. I mean, I think it makes sense logically. I mean, the variables are there. I do have Apollo. I don't have it on the Apollo wallet, just because those are just my own personal preferences. These billionaires that hold BTC are not selling. Although BTC is slow and expensive, it still has the captive audience. Yeah, that's definitely big. I mean, that's a good point to bring up. I mean, the Bitcoin is kind of the only game in town as far as having the attention of the global stage. I wish Apollo would get on the main exchanges. I wish it would too. I'm totally fed up with 90% of the exchanges that have Apollo. I mean, with these exchanges that try and fish your data, like, I'm not gonna take a picture of my passport just so that I can take my money off of an exchange. I feel like a lot of these crypto exchanges try and hold your funds hostage, which it really bothers me. And I mean, just a side note, I mean, you don't want to leave your digital assets on the exchange. You just don't trust these exchanges at all, especially the ones that you can't get a hold of on the phone if you have a problem, because you never know what's going to happen. I've heard so many stories of people who've been locked out of their account because the exchanges won't like work with the Google Authenticator, and then they keep typing in that code that the Google Authenticator gives you, and it's just horror stories of people who've lost lots of money with that. So all that being said, though, you guys, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what XRP and Tron are going to be doing in the future. But all that being said, everybody, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I think we covered some interesting information. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do. But I will see you guys in the next video, and have a good one.